This episode of FUM0112 machining is dedicated to carriage stop. This here is the carriage stop I have now made. I'm satisfied with this one. This is the third one I actually made, and now I finally got it as I want it to be. Well. For those of you who probably won't know what a carriage stop is, it's a device to stop the carriage from moving. When you move it like this, in my case now it's not active. This is the thing used to stop this, and the main features of carriage stop are: first of all, it should stop the carriage at a given point. So, for example, if I adjust this to 0, like that, and then I want it to stop there, I just tighten this. And now it will repeat itself. So this repeating is really important. So it always stops. This one now stops in inside 1/100th of a millimeter to the same place every time. Probably more accurate, but that's it's inside 1/100th of a millimeter. That's one feature, to be able to repeat the stop place each and every time after you set it up. A second feature is that it should be easy to set up. So in my case I don't have a screw here. This is a sliding bar, which you can adjust wherever you want. And how I adjust this, I tighten this even so slightly. And then I put the carriage wherever I want it to be. And then I tighten. That's one way to do it. And now it stops there every time. Okay, that's one way. Or then I can find the place where I want it to be, using the dial indicator, for example, and then just pull this like that and tighten it there, and it will stop there. Well, there are certain things with this. For example, how you lock this this bar. If you screw it, and then you lock it in place, this always has some impact on the distance. That I have noticed. And another thing is that it should be adjustable without using any wrenches. So therefore this kind of adjusting mechanism here. Okay, that's one feature. Another feature is that this, when not in use, it should not be on the way. This means that, well, it's always on the way because it's attached on the way. Okay, that's one. Well, in this case, unfortunately, I have here a thing that can be used to put it aside here. Hopefully you could see that. And it slides quite freely here. And if you want to lock it somewhere, unfortunately now we need to use a tool here, which is not my desirable thing, but anyway. Okay, that's another feature, that you can easily put it aside so it's not on the way. Well, so repeatable, it should be repeatable, and it also should be steady enough to withstand some forces coming from here, and adjustable without tools. Okay, everything is in place in this one, and I'm pretty satisfied with the construction I have here. So, let's take this apart and see what's inside. Well, here are the 3 generations of this carriage stop. This was the first one I made, and it has no adjustments, it's just attaching on the way, and you tighten it here. It worked quite well actually. This one was the second best of them all. Yeah. Okay. This one was the second one, and this had M10, M10 fine screw, and then the tightening mechanism here in the back. This was a total failure. Well, neither of these were stable on the way. They wiggled each and every way. Yeah. Then I did this. And this one actually is the best of them all, and I consider this being a success. First of all, the attachment, or how you attach the dial indicator here. Well, it's a tight press fit. This one comes out like this, and there you are. That's one. And then, if we look what's next is how you tighten it on the way. You have now on the top. I intended to make here wheel like this, but it needs so much force that I decided not to do that, so therefore I ended up in a claw like this. It's here under, it's like that. There is a 4mm pin, which is at the moment I put some super glue there. It doesn't need that because it's hiding there in the groove, but every time you took this apart, it fold apart. This pin slide out, and it was a little bit horrific. So the method of tightening is that when you it's a little bit snug fit, really. Oh yeah, now the pin is moving actually, even though I had some glue on that one. So the method is that when you have a screw there, it will draw the claw against the under of the way. Okay, that's one part of the thing. And then there is this the stop itself. There is this thumb screw maybe. Well, it's very simple thing, just M8 thread. This is press fit inside this 5mm hole, rounded up these things, etc. This is very simple lathe work. And then we have a brass washer there, and now of course this moves freely, you can pull it out. And this is the tightening mechanism. It goes on the side like this, inside the hole, and when you tighten it, it will squeeze this piece of, and this one is made, no, I didn't make this, I just hacksawed a piece of, this is case hardened rod. It's, maybe you can see how it is shiny on the outside and not so shiny on the inside. It has about 2mm hardened material outside, and then it's soft inside. This is very good for this kind of, because it doesn't get markings on that one. And this is cold rolled steel, and then a normal M8 bolt screwed there in. I didn't make the threads, only tapped into this little piece. Okay. And then we have the body. It's a little bit of a Swiss cheese. Okay, let's see what features this has. First of all, the dial indicator doesn't sit horizontally or vertically. It's sitting on a 45-degree angle, and this one, when I did this, it was at this position, and then I milled the slot here. Yeah, easy enough. Well, I had to grind a tool for this purpose, and it all worked actually quite well. And then this is 8mm hole, which was drilled and reamed. This is a 16mm hole, which is drilled and reamed. And then this one is 10mm hole, drilled and reamed. And finally, the one that is used for the V-slot thing here, this is also 10mm hole, drilled and reamed. Well, underside we have this a lot of a chunk of material removed from here. And then we have a V-groove. Both of these were quite easy to do in the milling machine. And then finally we have this strange looking, this slot for the claw. So it is just a groove there, and well, naturally everything needs to be quite precise. Actually, this piece, however, it's made of this material for that one is tool steel. It's very hard, actually, and when you put it inside there, it's a very snug fit. And it now goes there, yeah. So there is very little side play. I measured it, and the side play is less than 1/100th of a millimeter. It doesn't need to be that way, but it is. I actually used some stoning here, and now the pin is coming out. Let's take it out. Okay, this is also hardened material. It's I believe this is high-speed steel, because there was no way I could. I had to grind it off with my Dremel. And then this is the piece I made from tool steel, and there is some ball nose end mill used here. And then this slot, everything is done in the milling machine except this rounding here. This is done by filing. And because there are some quite strange geometry going on here. When you put it like this here and you want this this type of movement, you have to see that this edge here doesn't interact with when it moves up with the back side of this, and well, that's it. But the pin itself needs to be a little bit, and this one I did just filing whatever was needed. So because this one needs to go and this also is quite snug fit, so it needs to be able to move this way. And now well, you can understand when you look back here, you need to have some reliefs there, so in order for it to be able to do that. And also there needs to be reliefs here under, like that. Okay. So there was quite some machining to do, but Now I think this is complete, and well, I have already used it and it works really well. This here is a success. However, there is no reason to become cocky here. This is the third version of this, so therefore, but it involved some machining, and it was not easy to do, and that's the way I like it. So that you really need to put yourself into this type of things when you do this. Okay, and it's a usable item, I believe so. So yeah, in the next episode we are dealing with this. It's not for milk. It looks like a milk milk jar, the Finnish version of that. And there are some things like these also. Well, that will be in the next episode of Finno-Ugric machining. Till then, bye!